Hi, welcome to Senior Savvy. I'm Jane Wells, your host for today's show. Senior Savvy is brought to you by the Oshkosh Seniors Center, where it's our mission to enrich the quality of life for adults ages 50 and older. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about fire safety because October is Fire Prevention Month. And who else could I have on the show to talk about fire safety in the city of Oshkosh other than John Holland.
Hi.
John.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So why don't you start out by just telling us a little bit about yourself? Are you from the Oshkosh area? How did you get into this line of work?
Okay. I grew up here in Oshkosh, and I remember growing up thinking, I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing, but it's not going to be here. And boy, was I wrong. I am exactly where I belong.
Yeah.
Oshkosh is an amazing place to work and live, so I'm lucky that I'm here.
And you know what? Oshkosh is lucky to have you too, and your skills and all the things that you do.
I certainly hope so.
Because you are what's your official job title?
It sounds very, very impressive. I'm the public education specialist. I'm the PR guy.
Right. But you are that educational component, because everybody thinks a fire's never going to happen to me.
Exactly.
And yet, as we talk with people, you know what, I know so-and-so had a fire or so-and-so had a fire, but yet somehow we always think it's never going to happen to us.
Exactly. They think it's going to happen to the other guy.
Right.
And my thing is always, well, to me, you are the other guy. And
right. Exactly.
So it does happen, unfortunately.
Right. About how many, just roughly guessing, how many house fires in Oshkosh in a year?
We have about 60 of them a year. Most are very minor, but we have had some that have been horrible as well.
Yes, we have. So let's talk a little bit about that, because obviously the Senior Center focuses on those ages 50 and older, and especially as you get older and older, fire within your home is a serious matter for anybody. But the statistics on the likelihood of somebody being injured or hurt as you age skyrocket.
They do. You are 100% correct. Once you are 65 and older, you are twice as likely to get hurt or killed in a fire. And then when you hit that 80-year-old mark, it is 3 times more likely than the average person.
So let's talk about the why. Why would that be?
Well, one of them is, the big one is you're slowing down. As you get older, you just slow down. So you're a lot less likely to be able to take quick action that is necessary.
Right.
Maybe medications are adding to that as well.
Sure.
And then it goes along with a lot of them live alone. A lot of seniors live by themselves, so there's really no one there to help. And a burn with an older person, their skin gets thinner as you age.
I know that already.
Well, I have no idea what you're talking about. A smaller burn for somebody else is a huge deal for a senior.
So this is definitely one of those situations, as many are in life, where being proactive about something is so much easier than responding afterwards. And so we're going to talk a lot about just an awareness of what's all going on within your environment, things you can do to minimize your risk, right? And then what's available to them as resources and things like that.
You got it.
So this is really, really important. And yet, with John, you always have a humor twist to it, which is wonderful.
So.
All right. So let's talk about some hazards within our own homes.
Okay.
Because again, we all think it's never going to happen to us.
Exactly. And the big ones for seniors, the number one cause of fires, and this is not just for seniors, this is just across the board, careless smoking. And it is, like I said, the top cause of fires, top cause of deaths nationwide and in Oshkosh. Cooking is probably your number one way you're going to get hurt, and that makes sense. If you're going to have a fire, it's going to be in the kitchen. That's where the hot stuff is.
Right.
Heating equipment, people don't usually think about that. And then electrical fires kind of round out the top 4.
Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about things that people can do within their own home to prevent a fire. So
you got it.
I think we have some props.
We do have some props
today.
So, yep. So the big one's right here.
What?
Smoke detectors. Every year we do a smoke detector trek, is what we call it in October, since it's Fire Prevention Month, like you said. And we are always stunned by the number of people that do not have any smoke alarms. I'm not talking just not working smoke alarms.
But don't even
None.
have any.
The nationwide statistics say 90% of people have them. 1/3 of them don't work. They don't have working batteries or whatever. Oshkosh, last year when we did it, we had almost 15% of the homes that we went into had 0 working smoke alarms, and little less than 10% had none in their homes.
Wow.
So
And
this is the big one.
Right. And if you were to go purchase that in the store, memory serves me right, they're about $10 a piece.
Yep.
And then the batteries
And
to
then
go into them.
You got it.
But A, we don't want seniors up on ladders changing the
You got it,
batteries in
exactly.
them.
Yep.
And B, 10, you need generally more than one in a home. So, that can add up. So if people can't afford it, or we don't want them up on the ladders changing the batteries, tell us about this wonderful program that you have.
Okay, we have a program called Project Safe. It's smoke alarms for everyone. You would not believe how long it took to come up with that. We were so proud of that name. And what it is we provide free smoke alarms for people. Free smoke alarms, free batteries. You call us and we will come and check it out. Like I said earlier, we do have a big push in October where we pick a lower income neighborhood and do this, but it is available year long, and it's a very simple thing to do. The 10 to 15 bucks seems like a cheap life insurance, but free has got that beat.
Free has that beat for sure. So John, what number would they call if they wanted to get in touch with you to have you come in and kind of do the SAFE program with them?
Yep. What they do is they call me at 236-5249, and we set up a time that works for both of us, and we get it in. It takes usually less than 15 minutes, and we make sure that you have what you're supposed to have, which is at least one on every level.
Well, and that's the thing too, is placement of them, where I think it maybe should go. I don't want it near my kitchen because it's always going to go off.
Exactly.
But
and
you
that's
know
where
what? To
people put
have
it.
your opinion as to where is the best place to put it, or put them within my home. So I don't have to get up on the ladder. You guys will install them. You'll come in and put them where you think that they need to be based on the layout of my home. It's completely free. Now, you're not there like making notes on other things you see in my house.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. All we're there for is the smoke alarm.
Right.
We just want to make sure that you are safe.
Exactly. I just, people get sometimes funny about
Well,
others
and I
coming in their
understand
home.
that.
So
I understand that,
Yeah,
yes.
and really, it really is about keeping you alive and safe because, as you said, as we age, we just want as many systems in place as we can to keep us safe.
You
So
got
that's
it.
wonderful.
Yep. And we would much rather show up for this than with the big red truck.
Okay, so in addition to smoke detectors, and we know that is the number one thing that somebody can do to help increase the likelihood of getting out when there's a fire. Let's talk about other things we can do within our home to keep us safe.
Okay. One that people don't think of is coming up with an escape plan before there's a fire.
What?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. When you have a fire is not the time to think about this. It's not difficult. You need 2 ways out of every room, and that's going to be your door or your window.
Okay.
And I realize with seniors, the window is not always your best bet, but it beats being killed in a fire.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
and then you should have somewhere outside, if there is more than one person living there, that where everybody meets, no matter how they get out. You pick a big tree, neighbor's
Just
front
so
door.
you know that everybody made it out safe.
You got it.
So the one thing I do want to add to this, because we are talking about mobility and not being as flexible as we used to be. That's one thing that we take very seriously at the Senior Center is helping people to stay fit. And the reason why we do have the exercise classes and the fitness center and the yoga and the Tai Chi is because we have to work at it. It doesn't just happen. People who are healthier as they age you have to work at it, and you have to move your body so that you don't lose that flexibility, so that you can climb out of a window.
Yes, God forbid you ever have to, but you're right.
Exactly.
You use it or lose it. It is that simple.
Yes.
And I know you have some great programs. Steve Sagmeister does a great class for you. You're welcome, Steve.
All right, so have an escape plan, very important. And like you said, you plan that ahead of time.
Yes.
And even if you do live alone, still in your mind, I think you do want to visualize, okay, if there were ever a fire,
Yes.
here's how I'm going to get out. Here, if this is blocked, here's how I'm going to get out.
You got it.
Because when you have that plan, even if it's in your head or you just quick write it down, then when you're in that crisis mode, it just comes to you.
Yes.
You're not having to think of it because it's already there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got it.
All right. So I get out of my house. Thank goodness there's a fire. I get out. Oh, but I left my little fluffy dog inside. What am I going to do?
Yep. We do get that. People want to go back in. Please don't go back in. I get it. I have 2 cats and a dog, and I like them more than I like most people. Not anybody out there. Definitely not you. But I mean, they're part of the family. I get that.
Right.
Let us know they're in there.
Right.
Don't go back in for anything.
Right.
People going back in for their pets. Really bad idea.
Photos.
Yes, photos. The big thing these days is cell phones.
Oh, come on.
I mean, and I kind of get it. You have, your whole life is there, but it's not worth losing your life to do that.
Exactly.
So get out, stay out, call 911 from a neighbor's house. If you have your phone, of course, use it. Don't go looking for it. Don't waste your time. So
now I shouldn't be taking a quick video, Facebook Live on my way out of my fire, right?
No, that's very, very important, and it does happen. People want to share it, and we get it at a lot of fires where people say, "Do you want to see the video I took?" And I thought of this recently, but part of me wants to say, sure, and then kind of scroll through their phone and see, did you actually call 911 before you were filming your neighbor's home? Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy, but that is a valid point. Get out, call 911, then do the other stuff.
Yes, if you have to do that, you bet.
So I remember as a kid, the old saying, stop, drop, and roll, stay low to the ground. Is that still what we would hope people would do, or a great way, because the smoke tends to be up at a higher level, correct?
You got it. And for seniors, I realize that's tough. Like you said, the smoke is unbelievably hot. It's over 1,000 degrees. So that's why it goes up.
I didn't know that.
So that's why I'm here. That's why you go down. With seniors, that's easier said than done. I know you're probably not going to be crawling underneath that smoke, but get down as low as you can. With the stopping and dropping and rolling.
Maybe that's if you caught on fire or something.
Yes,
but at least
if you are on fire, yes. Or you could wrap a blanket around yourself.
Right.
And I know people think, well, I'm not going to be able to do that physically, but when you're on fire, I bet you might be able to.
And really, I guess the point I was trying to make is the lower you get, the better the air.
You got it.
Okay. Yep. All right. So practice going out, or like I said, visualize it, write it down even. Just have that plan in your head, or if you have more than one person with you, do practice it, or at least talk about it.
Yes, at least at the bare minimum, talk about it. You got it.
All right. So I'm a smoker. Not really, but. So let's do some props here.
Okay, we'll do some more props. With smoking. First of all, knock it off. It's horrible for you.
This, boys and girls, is an ashtray. You don't see these too often anymore.
No, you don't. It was hard to actually come up with one. Use an ashtray. Don't use a plastic pot for like a plant or wooden ones. We have fires with that all the time. I bet easily 5 of the fires we have a year. Most of them are smoking, like maybe 15 to 20%. But of those, it is people who are using a wooden bowl or some wooden or plastic receptacle as an ashtray.
And they think it's out.
Yep, and it's like and it's not. So use a real ashtray, and then make sure you don't overfill it. And before you dump it, put it in the trash or whatever, make sure, your best bet is to wet it down.
Sure.
Wet down the ashes and then wait a while and then dump them. You never smoke in bed.
I was just going to say, I would think people know that, but
let's
double check.
You would think so. And it's, I mean, I remember when I was a kid, which was 10, 15 years ago.
At least, maybe. That long ago?
That long ago, yeah. Commercials are on TV all the time, and people still do it.
Well, because we all think it's never going to happen to us.
Exactly.
I will never fall asleep in the middle of my cigarette.
Exactly, and it does happen it happens way too often.
Right.
Don't smoke if you are on oxygen, and that seems, if you use oxygen for your breathing issues or whatever.
Right.
For God's sakes, don't light up. And we had a fatal fire within the last 5 years where that's exactly what happened. And I don't even know what to say to that.
Right.
Oxygen is so flammable. So please don't do that.
Right. So, yeah. Okay, within our own home, A, don't smoke when you're on oxygen. B, always use an ashtray. C, never smoke in bed. You know, half the time I never remember why I even came into a room, so I can imagine that I would forget that maybe I lit a cigarette
exactly.
a
And we
little
all
bit
do
a
that. We
while
get in there and
ago.
it's like, what am I doing in here?
So,
Yes.
So all of those things. Okay, let's shift to cooking and kitchen, because that is where a lot of the fires do start.
You bet.
Right?
Yes, exactly. And like we said before, that's where the hot stuff is.
Yes.
The big one is people are cooking and leaving the room.
Okay.
And
Who's guilty of that?
Yeah, and we all do that, except for me, of course, but other people do that. How you like this for a prep? Huh?
There we
Cook
go.
a whole meal.
There's your portion control.
Exactly. When you are cooking, make sure that you stay in that room. If there's anything out in the stove or anything in the broiler, okay? The oven, be aware that it is there. But if it's on the stove, for God's sakes, stay put. Don't leave the house.
Right.
We get calls, fire calls, where it is, I was just gone for a few minutes. We had one where the woman said that, and we all have our own idea of what a few minutes is, but the
Right.
coil from the heating element on the stove was burned into the bottom of the pan, and it was like, thinking, I don't know, maybe more than a couple minutes.
So is it possible to get a shot of the pan on the table, maybe, guys? So, because what I want to show is how often does this happen? And, you know, I still have teenagers in the home all the time. They're cooking something on the stove, and, you know, the handle is sticking out from the stove like that.
Yep.
And guess what? Somebody walks by and chunk,
Yep.
there it goes. Whoosh.
Exactly. You're dumping all that hot stuff. And again, we're back to the burns on the seniors. It's really bad
Right.
for children because it is head height.
Pet height, if you have a dog
or
that
pet
jumps.
height. You got it. Exactly.
So it's as simple as turning that handle
You got
away. Make sure it's not over another burner where this gets really hot. Because I've done that already.
Exactly.
And yeah, that hurts when you
Yes,
grab
that does hurt. Which brings us to pot holders, hot pads, oven mitts. Great idea to use. Don't use the towels. I see them all on cooking shows where they
Right.
take that towel and they grab
Right.
it here and they
Right.
drape it right over the stove.
Yeah.
It's a really bad idea. These are great for keeping your hands safe, but
Yes.
don't put them on the stove. And people do because it's handy.
Yeah.
And they can scoot under there
Yep.
and start a fire.
How many? What is that
Exactly.
smell?
Wow, we're
And
having
we know.
something really
All right,
strange.
John, we have about 5 minutes
Okay.
left. So we've talked about smoke alarms. We've talked about cooking safety within your home. We've talked about cigarette smoking. If somebody wants to learn more, you are coming to the Senior Center
You got it.
in
You got it.
October to
Yep.
do a wonderful presentation. And it's all about fire safety. And the wonderful thing about this, it's with a partner, Care Patrol, and they are going to be providing lunch and some door prizes in addition to John being there. And our hope is that we get to go through that fire safe house, because a lot of this stuff is on display in there. And
is.
whether that's our hope right
That's
now.
our hope. I don't think it's going to happen, but the prison is redoing it for us.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
It turned, which is fantastic.
Right.
But it needed more work than we thought. So,
okay.
and they're going to do it correctly. So we
Well,
can't really knock that.
nevertheless, we will still set up some things to
You
kind of
bet.
demonstrate
You
what
bet.
that's all about.
Exactly.
But you know, it is so important, and this presentation is going to be on Tuesday, October 10th at 12 noon at the Oshkosh Senior Center in the South Building. Again, there's free lunch and some door prizes by Care Patrol, and Care Patrol really wants to emphasize safety, and so she was very thrilled to be partnering with this program, and I know she is bringing in some giveaways that people will enjoy receiving. So let's talk again, like with things within your home. You have a heater, because a lot of people use heaters.
Yep.
How far away do we keep those from things?
Space heaters, our thing is give space heaters space.
Yep.
And that's like 3 feet. Keep them away from anything that can burn. Don't dry towels on them. We had a couple of fires with that. One was
Sure.
drying it, one wanted a warm towel, and it was like,
Yeah,
you kind of
can't do
got
that.
that. So just be very, very careful with your heating. Make sure that you get your heating system checked every year so you don't
Right.
get carbon monoxide poisoning.
Right.
And there are detectors for that. Unfortunately, they're not in our Project Safe at this time, but
Right.
We're working towards that. But
Awesome.
yeah, the
Well, that's
heating
a
equipment
wonderful thing.
And don't heat your stove. I mean, house with a stove, and seniors do that.
Yeah, I know some people.
Yep, and it's so dangerous. You have that hot door, plus you have carbon monoxide coming out of it.
Right, right. And with a gas stove, it produces so much moisture, then there was mold on the walls, and it just got to be a big deal.
Exactly.
So-
exactly.
All right, so we just have a couple minutes left, and I would like to go back one more time
Yep.
to the number one thing we can all do within our home, and that is the smoke alarms. So
alarms.
tell us again one more time about the SAFE program, how they get you to come out to their house.
Okay. You give me a call at 236-5249, and we come in. It's all free. Your
Right.
only cost is putting up with me for like 15 minutes.
Right.
So,
So even if they don't need new smoke alarms, they can still call that number, and you can come out and check and replace batteries.
Yep,
if
we can
needed.
replace batteries if needed. We can just check, make sure everything is working, which
Perfect.
it happens. It's pretty rare, but they have everything they need, and just for peace of mind.
Sure, exactly. So I'm hoping that people are going to take advantage of that program, John, because
too.
it is really important. And the statistics of seniors getting hurt in fires are just something we don't even want to deal with. I mean,
Right. No, you're right.
we want to be proactive.
Right.
And the simple thing to do is get those smoke alarms going. And if you don't have them, call the fire department. They will come out and help you with that for free. Get down and work out at the exercise classes and at the fitness center, at the senior center, so that you can maintain some level of mobility. Don't smoke if you're on oxygen.
Yeah.
And keep those space heaters away. They need space for space heaters, as you said.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Any other quick points, John, before we wrap up here today?
With candles, don't leave the
Oh,
candles
yes.
unattended as well. The holiday season is coming up,
Right.
and people do that all the time.
Yep.
I guess that's another big one. And just be safe. Use a little common sense, which is what most of this stuff is.
Right.
But if people had common sense, I wouldn't have a job. It
You're
almost
right.
boils
And
down
real
to it.
quickly, I just want to add, because we didn't talk about this, as grandparents and our little grandkids come over, and yeah, we don't need to hide our lighter because I'm safe with it.
Right.
But we forget that little Timmy or Susie is coming over, and tick, 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 tick.
You got it. You got it.
Make sure those are put away when the
Yeah,
grandkids
put
are
away.
coming.
Exactly. It's
Or
a
the
very
neighbor
good
kids or
point. Because
anybody.
we blame the kids, but usually they have very easy access to the lighters. So
Exactly.
put them away.
All right. Well, thank you again, John.
You bet.
Looking
You're
forward
very,
to
very
seeing you in a
welcome.
couple weeks at the Senior Center for your program. It should be awesome.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. So I hope you join us in October for John's program at the Senior Center. There are other things happening at the Senior Center, of course, that I would like to share with you. So first up, you might remember from our September episode of Senior Savvy, Jeannie Tondrick was our guest, and she talked about the Time of Your Life Senior Expo. And that is going to be on Monday, October 9th, and it runs from 8:30 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the Oshkosh Convention Center. Admission is free. There'll be over 80 vendors there talking about issues, everything pertaining to seniors. So if you're a senior or your parents are seniors, this is a great thing to be a part of. I also wanted to mention flu shots. It's getting to be that time of year where cold and germs and flu are all around us. So Valley VNA Senior Care will be offering flu shots at the Oshkosh Senior Center on Wednesdays, October 11th and October 25th. No appointment is necessary. Medicare Part B and most Medicare Advantage plans will cover the cost of the vaccine. Just bring your cards with you when you come. So Stay Smart Lifestyle is a great program that we have at the Oshkosh Senior Center, and it's getting ready to start another session. If you had some recent blood work done or a recent test and it kind of said that you're off the charts in some areas of your life and you want to try to bring that back under control, this is a great opportunity for you to come in and learn with other people who are in the same journey as you. The program starts October 31st, runs through June 5th, 9 to 11 a.m., and it runs just about every other week. You have to register in advance for that program, though, and you can call 232-5320, Amanda Ubalodi, to get more information on that. And as long as we're talking about food, We do have lots of great food opportunities at the Senior Center. Food is so social, and we want connectiveness, and that does happen when we eat, let's be honest. So we do have social for the single senior. That is on the second Tuesday of the month. This group of people just meet at a variety of restaurants throughout the area and just have a good time talking with each other and visiting. Soup Splash. This is an opportunity to come in and make soup. It's no fun sometimes sitting there all by yourself chopping and dicing everything, so this is kind of a cooperative group effort. October 17th, 1:30 to 3:30. You're going to come in, we're all going to work together. By the time you leave, you're going to have 3 fantastic soups to take home with you. And then of course our Eat and Greet, which is the last Thursday of every month. This month it will be on October 26th. I also want to highlight that Joan Jaworski from the Aging and Disability Resource Center is at the center every Wednesday, and you can meet with her free, and she gives all kinds of advice and points directions for you as you're turning 60 and 60 plus and what you become eligible for and when. I do want to, looking ahead, put on your calendars our military tribute event will be on Thursday, November 16th. It starts out at 10:30 a.m. with Dick Campbell presenting Remembering the USS Indianapolis and her crew. And then from there, we would go on to our honor lunch. And veterans are free and guests are $5. Again, you do need to register in advance for that. So please just call the center and do that for us. And then lastly, get on your calendar in December. I know we're already talking Christmas or holidays. Saturday, December 9th, 2:00 p.m., the Heartland Holiday Concert by the Oshkosh Senior Center Golden Tones. Paula Steiner, the director. Marshall Potter will be the accompanist. This will be in our north building. Doors will open at 1:30. It's a great event. It really helps to put you in the holiday spirit. It's wonderful. And we're so proud of our chorus. And this is supported by Bella Vista Senior Living. We'll have light refreshments afterwards. And I think that almost wraps up today's episode of Senior Savvy, but there's so much more that goes on at the Oshkosh Senior Center. Please check out our newsletter, The Current. That has everything listed in it that we have going on for the month, and you can get that online. You can get that at the Senior Center, or if you're a friend, it is actually mailed to you. So thank you for joining Senior Savvy. Call and get those fire alarms, fire smoke detectors checked out in your home. See you next time.